Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha with the Midday News. The headlines. Nitish Kumar to be the Chief Minister of Bihar for the 7th time. Newly elected MLAs of NDA elect him as their leader in Patna. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Birsa Munda's contribution to freedom movement and efforts for social harmony will always inspire people. India lodges strong protest over unprovoked ceasefire violations by Pakistan along LOC. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 93.09% in the country. And veteran Bengali actor Soumitra Chatterjee passes away. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Nitish Kumar will be the Chief Minister of Bihar for the 7th time. The JDU leader was today elected unanimously the leader of the National Democratic Alliance. The decision was taken at a joint meeting of NDA in Patna. Earlier, newly elected legislators of JDU elected him the leader of the party. The meeting was convened at the official residence of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. The oath ceremony will take place tomorrow. Mr. Kumar, along with the Council of Ministers, will take the oath of office in secrecy before the Governor Phagu Chauhan. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh was present in the joint meeting of NDA as the observer. Union Minister Nityanand Rai, Party in charge of Bihar Affairs Bhupendra Yadav, Election in charge Devendra Fadnavis and Bihar BJP President Sanjay Jaiswal were also present in the meeting. Hindustani Awam Morcha, HM President Jitan Ram Manjhi and Vikassheel Insan Party VIP Chief Mukesh Sahni were also present in the meeting. The legislators of all the 4 NDA constituents BJP, JDU, Hindustani Awam Morcha and Vikassheel Insan Party discussed the formation of a new government in the state. Besides post of Deputy Chief Minister, election of Assembly Speaker and other issues were also discussed at the meeting. Earlier, newly elected MLAs of BJP elected Sushil Kumar Modi as the legislature party leader. The NDA secured absolute majority by winning 125 seats in the recently held Assembly elections. One independent MLA, Sumit Singh, has also extended his support to the NDA. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu paid tribute to the iconic tribal freedom fighter Birsa Munda on his birth anniversary today. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, known as Dharti Aba, Father of Earth, Birsa Munda mobilized the tribals against the oppression of the British. He said Birsa Munda's fearlessness and determination motivated many tribals to fight against the unjust colonial rule. Vice President said Birsa Munda will always be remembered for his immense efforts to protect the rights of the tribals. Mr. Naidu greeted the people of Jharkhand on their state formation day today. He said land of forests Jharkhand is a treasure trove of minerals and the people of the state have made immense contribution in various fields to the growth of the nation.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid gratitude to Birsa Munda on his birth anniversary. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said Birsa Munda was a true savior of the poor and worked for the welfare of the deprived and exploited section of society. He said his contribution to the freedom movement and efforts for social harmony will always inspire people. In one of his Mann Ki Baat programs last year, the Prime Minister said,
भगवान बिरसा मुंडा ने सिर्फ अपने पारंपरिक तीर कमान से ही बंदूक और तोपों से लैस अंग्रेजी शासन को हिलाकर रख दिया था। दरअसल जब लोगों को एक प्रेरणादायी नेतृत्व मिलता है तो फिर हथियारों की शक्ति पर लोगों की सामूहिक इच्छा शक्ति भारी पड़ती है। भगवान बिरसा मुंडा ने अंग्रेजों से न केवल राजनीतिक आजादी के लिए संघर्ष किया बल्कि आदिवासियों के सामाजिक और आर्थिक अधिकारों के लिए भी लड़ाई लड़ी। अपने छोटे से जीवन में उन्होंने यह सब कर दिखाया। वंचितों और शोषितों के अंधेरे से भरे जीवन में सूरज की तरह चमक बिखेरी।
The Prime Minister greeted the residents of Jharkhand on their statehood day. India has lodged a strong protest over unprovoked ceasefire violations along the line of control by Pakistan on Friday. The Ministry of External Affairs summoned the Charge d'Affaires of the High Commission of Pakistan, and a strong protest was lodged over unprovoked ceasefire violations by Pakistani forces on multiple sectors along the LOC in Jammu and Kashmir on the 13th of this month, resulting in the death of 4 innocent civilians and serious injuries to 19 others. The MEA said India condemns in the strongest terms the deliberate targeting of innocent civilians by Pakistani forces. It is highly deplorable that Pakistan chose a festive occasion in India to disrupt peace and to perpetrate violence in Jammu and Kashmir through coordinated firing along the length of the LOC using heavy caliber weapons, including artillery and mortar, on Indian civilians. India also strongly protested Pakistan's continued support to cross-border terrorist infiltration into India, including through supporting cover fire provided by Pakistani troops. Pakistan was once again reminded of its bilateral commitment to not allow any territory under its control to be used for terrorism against India in any manner.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Border Security Force Kashmir Frontier today paid last respects to Sub-Inspector Rakesh Dobal, who attained martyrdom in the unprovoked ceasefire violation by Pakistan in Kupwara district on Friday. The wreath-laying ceremony for Dobal was held in Srinagar today. On November 13th, Pakistan had initiated unprovoked ceasefire violation on the line of control LOC using artillery, mortars and other weapons, deliberately targeting even the civilian areas. Sub-Inspector Rakesh Dobal immediately reacted to the call of duty for retaliation and brought effective fire on enemy, thus causing great damage to the enemy in Naugam sector. While fighting bravely, he was hit by the enemy fire and made supreme sacrifice in the line of duty. Dr. Rajesh Mishra, Inspector General, Kashmir Frontier BSF, led the tribute ceremony held at Kashmir Frontier BSF headquarters, Homhama. BSF officers and others ranks of the Kashmir Frontier and dignitaries from other forces and civil administration also paid homage to the departed brave heart. Yet again, from Jammu and Kashmir, Army today paid tributes to Havildar Hardan Chandra Roy, Naik Satai Bhushan Ramesh Rao, Gunner Subodh Ghosh, and Sipoy Jondale Rishikesh Ramachandra, who made the supreme sacrifice on Friday in North Kashmir. In a solemn ceremony at VB Camp, Srinagar, Lieutenant General B.S. Raju, Chinar Corps Commander, and all ranks paid homage to the gallant soldiers. On 13th November, Pakistani Army had initiated unprovoked ceasefire violations in multiple sectors of Kashmir. Late Havildar Hardan Chandra Roy and late Gunner Subodh Ghosh of the Regiment of Artillery were deployed in Uri sector, while late Nayak Satai Bhushan Ramesh Rao and late Sipoy Jodhale Rishikesh Ramachandra of the Maratha Light Infantry were deployed in Gurej sector. In unprovoked artillery shelling by Pakistani Army, these brave hearts received multiple splinter injuries. They were provided immediate medical aid and evacuated to nearest military facility, but they succumbed to their grievous injuries. Meanwhile, Border Security Force Kashmir Frontier also paid respects to Sub-Inspector Rakesh Dobal, who attained martyrdom in the unprovoked ceasefire violation by Pakistani Army in Kupwara district. Dr. Rajesh Mishra, Inspector General BSF of Kashmir Frontier, and all other officers of Kashmir Frontier led the tribute ceremony at BSF headquarters in Homhama in Srinagar.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, for the first time in history, West Pakistani refugees, WPRs and Valmikis can now vote and contest elections. They were not entitled to the same since 1947. Our Jammu correspondent reports that abrogation of Article 370 and new domicile laws have empowered the WPRs and Valmikis for voting rights and contesting elections in the Union Territory. About 5,700 Hindu and Sikh families, popularly known as West Pakistan refugees, WPRs, entered India in 1947 and settled down in various parts of Jammu. The number of WPRs has now increased to over 20,000 families, or 4 lakh persons. They were settled mainly in border areas of Jammu and were not considered as permanent citizens. After the scrapping of Article 370, they are now allowed to purchase land and apply for jobs in J&K. Besides, they can also contest elections. Apart from WPRs, the Valmikis, Dalits, who were brought to J&K in 1975 from Punjab by the then state government and given permanent residence certificates, had to abide by the condition that their future generations could stay only in J&K if they continue to be scavengers and Safai Karamcharis. With the abrogation of Article 370, now the Valmikis can also apply for any job, purchase land, vote and contest elections. They can also change the occupation. At present, around 10,000 people belonging to Valmiki community are in J&K. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has represented India at the 15th East Asia Summit. The summit was chaired by Prime Minister of Vietnam, Nguyen Xuan Phuc, in his capacity as ASEAN chair. All the 18 East Asia Summit countries participated in the virtual summit. Dr. Jaishankar, in his remarks, reaffirmed the importance of East Asia Summit as the leaders-led forum to exchange views on strategic issues. He spoke of the importance of adhering to international law, respecting territorial integrity and sovereignty, and promoting a rules-based global order. On COVID-19, he briefed the East Asia Summit leaders about India's response to the pandemic and highlighted India's efforts to support the international community. He reiterated Prime Minister Modi's commitment to help make the COVID vaccine accessible and affordable to all nations. The External Affairs Minister noted the growing interest in the Indo-Pacific as an integrated and organic maritime space with the ASEAN at its center. He appreciated the synergy between the ASEAN Outlook and India's Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Nitish Kumar to be the Chief Minister of Bihar for the 7th time. Newly elected MLAs of NDA elect him as their leader in Patna. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Birsa Munda's contribution to the freedom movement and efforts for social harmony will always inspire people. India lodges strong protest over unprovoked ceasefire violations by Pakistan along LOC. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 93.09% in the country, and veteran Bengali actor Soumitra Chatterjee passes away. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 93.09%. More than 42,000 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours. According to Health Ministry, the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 82 lakh. The actual caseload currently comprises only 5.44% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 4,79,000. During the past 24 hours, 41,100 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases to over 88 lakh. The ministry said that effective implementation of the strategic and graded test, track and treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatality. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.47%, which is one of the lowest globally. During the last 24 hours, 447 deaths were reported, taking the toll to 1,29,635. According to Indian Council of Medical Research, over 8,05,000 tests were conducted during the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far has gone up to 12 crore 48 lakhs. The Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, today said by first or second month of the next year, the vaccine will be available in India.
दुनिया के अंदर 200 से ज्यादा वैक्सीन कैंडिडेट्स हैं, उसमें से थोड़े से क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स में एडवांस स्टेजेस में पहुंच गए हैं. 3-4 हमारे भारत के हैं उसमें, और उसमें से भी 2 तो थर्ड फेज में पहुंच गए हैं. और उस सबके आधार पर हमें उम्मीद है कि जैसे नया साल शुरू होगा 2021, तो पहले महीने में नहीं तो दूसरे महीने में हमारे को निश्चित रूप से वैक्सीन उपलब्ध हो जाएगी.
Talking to AIR, Director AIMS Dr. Randeep Guleria said, "We have to continue our fight. The war is still on and we have to take all efforts to take the number down."
We have to really continue our fight against COVID-19. This is not the time to say that the war is over. The war is still on. We have to understand that there are still people who are dying. There are still hospitals which are admitting patients with COVID-19. The recovery rate is good, but that doesn't mean that it's zero. There's zero mortality. There are people who are still having what we call long COVID. suffering even after recovering from COVID, and therefore we have to take all efforts to bring the number of cases down, to save lives, and to do that every person, every citizen has to have a disciplined behavior.
Home Minister Amit Shah will review the prevailing COVID-19 situation in the national capital Delhi this evening. The meeting is likely to be attended by Delhi Lieutenant Governor Anil Bajpai, Anil Baijal, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, Member Niti Ayog VK Paul, DG ICMR, Union Health Secretary and other senior officials. A total of 7,340 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi yesterday, taking the total number of cases to over 4,82,000. Delhi government said that over 4,30,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 7,117 people recovered and 96 deaths were reported in the city, taking the total to 7,519. Presently, the total number of active cases in the national capital is 44,456. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said government is proactively working to bring the cases down.
सारे देश में हम डिक्लाइन की तरफ है। ये खासकर दिल्ली में विशेष रूप से हमारे को इस समय थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा महसूस हो रही है। इसके ऊपर जब दिल्ली में पहले भी स्थिति बिगड़ी थी कुछ महीने पहले, तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक मीटिंग में होम मिनिस्टर को भी कहा और स्वास्थ्य मंत्री को भी कहा, और हम लोगों ने दिल्ली के लोगों की पूरी मदद करके दिल्ली में 5-6 हजार टेस्ट होते थे, 20-22 हजार रोज टेस्ट तक उस लेवल को लेके गए, सारी फैसिलिटीज को और स्ट्रेंथन किया, पूरा सपोर्ट किया। वो सारी चीजों के लिए हम लोग अभी भी पूरी तरीके से एक तरह से प्रोएक्टिवली तैयारी कर रहे हैं, सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, कंटिन्यूअसली मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं।
In Telangana, 661 fresh COVID cases have been reported during the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID cases reported in the state has gone up to 2,57,374. Over 21,000 tests were conducted in the state yesterday. The recovery rate slightly improved to 93.46%, with 1,637 more people recovering yesterday. This took the number of recovering people so far in the state to 2,40,545. Meanwhile, the daily bulletin issued by the State Medical and Health Department this morning stated that total deaths reported at 1,404, following 3 more people who succumbed to COVID and comorbidities during the past 24 hours. Currently, the state has over 15,000 active cases, out of which over 12,000 are in home isolation. Meanwhile, 167 new COVID-19 cases were reported in Hyderabad during the past 24 hours. In Tripura, 78 cases of coronavirus were detected in the past 24 hours, while 64 patients were discharged after recovery during the period. Alongside, the recovery rate of COVID-19 infections has improved to 95.48%. With this, the total number of infected people rose to 31,919, while 30,455 patients recovered from the infection. As of today, 1,079 people are undergoing treatment in different COVID care centers.
Veteran actor and Dada Saheb Phalke Award recipient Soumitra Chatterjee passed away at a Kolkata nursing home today. He was 85. The actor had been hospitalized on October 6, 2020 after being tested COVID positive. However, he was declared COVID negative later, but he has succumbed to other ailments, the hospital sources say. Chatterjee had started his career in All India Radio Kolkata as an announcer. He made his first appearance on the silver screen as Apu in the Apur Sansar with the great Maestro Satyajit Ray as the director. He has been active on big and small screens almost till the date he fell sick. The theatre personality, poet Soumitra Chatterjee had his own fan following. He is considered as one of the icons in the cultural arena of Bengal. He had won a number of awards in home and abroad, which include Padma Bhushan as well as the highest French civilian award, Legion of Honor. Madhya Pradesh is now taking steps in the direction of sending electricity bills through radio frequency mode. After Indore, now smart meters will be installed in Ratlam city from November 18th to give readings from radio frequencies. More from our correspondent.
The Energy Minister of the state has congratulated this achievement of electricity company. After Indore city, smart meters will now be installed in the entire Ratlam city. Managing Director of Madhya Pradesh Western Region Power Distribution Company said that these meters, which send readings through waves through radio frequency system will be installed in the homes of consumers. The reading of these meters will be done by installing communication equipment's router in the same area. These routers will send readings of meters on a date of every month to the local control center of the power company and the centralized control center at Indore. Bills will be issued from this reading. These meters will be installed free of cost to consumers. Paritosh Dikshit, AIR News, Bhopal.
The Labour Ministry has notified draft rules under the Code on Social Security 2020. The draft rules provide for operationalization of provisions in the Code on Social Security 2020 relating to Employees Provident Fund, Employees State Insurance Corporation, Gratuity Maternity Benefit, Social Security and cess in respect of building and other construction workers, Social Security for unorganized workers, gig workers and platform workers. The Ministry has invited objections and suggestions from the stakeholders. It said such objections and suggestions are required to be submitted within a period of 45 days from the date of notification of the draft rules. The draft rules also provide for Aadhaar-based registration, including self-registration by unorganized workers, gig workers and platform workers on the portal of the central government. Provision has also been made in the rules regarding gratuity to an employee who is on fixed-term employment. The rules also provide for single electronic registration of an establishment, including cancellation of the registration in case of closure of business activities. The procedure for self-assessment and payment of cess in respect of building and other construction workers has been elaborated in the rules. Doodh Duronto special train introduced during lockdown between Renigunta in Andhra Pradesh and Delhi for transportation of milk has crossed 4 crore litre mark. The special train was introduced on the 26th of March this year to operate on every alternate day as the mail and express trains which were earlier transporting milk were cancelled in view of COVID-19. With the enormous response received for the train, the Doodh Duronto special was enhanced to run on a daily basis from the 15th of July. Milk transported through this special train is collected by a unit of the National Dairy Development Board from more than 3,000 assembling points spread over 13,000 villages in and around the Chittor district. Prior to the lockdown, milk from Renigunta to Delhi was transported through milk tankers attached to the mail and express trains.
North East Frontier Railway NFR will run 7 festival special trains from today, while one train each will run on 5 routes: Guwahati-Sikandrabad, Guwahati-Pune, New Tinsukia, Ranchi, Guwahati-Havra and Agartala-Havra. 2 trains will ply from Agartala to Prayagraj. In the ongoing Kharif marketing season, government continues to procure Kharif crops at its minimum support price from farmers as per its existing MSP schemes. Paddy procurement for Kharif 2020-21 is continuing smoothly in the procuring states and union territories of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Uttarakhand, Tamil Nadu, Chandigarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh, with purchase of over 278 lakh metric tons of paddy against the last year corresponding purchase of over 226 lakh metric tons, showing an increase of 22.89%. Out of the total purchase, Punjab alone has contributed 194.63 lakh metric tons, which is 69.91% of the total procurement. Nearly 24 lakh farmers have already benefited from the ongoing Kharif procurement operations with MSP value of over 52,557 crore rupees. US President-elect Joe Biden, his deputy Kamala Harris, and incumbent President Donald Trump have extended Deepavali greetings to those celebrating the Festival of Lights. Mr. Biden and his wife extended best wishes for Happy Diwali to the millions of Hindus, Jains, Sikhs and Buddhists celebrating the Festival of Lights. In a tweet, he said, "May your new year be filled with hope, happiness and prosperity."
The air quality in the Delhi NCR region has deteriorated further and reached to the severe category. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the city's air quality index was recorded at 462 at 10 a.m. A thick blanket of smog enveloped several areas across Delhi in the morning, reducing visibility. The System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research, SAFAR, said the air quality index is likely to start improving from the afternoon. The stubble burning share in PM 2.5 in Delhi's air is almost negligible and estimated at around 4% for today. The air quality is forecast to stay in the middle end of the very poor category on the 17th and 18th of this month. In Jammu and Kashmir, the higher reaches received a fresh spell of light to moderate snowfall yesterday, while the plains received rains. The meteorological department has forecast the wet spell to continue today. The fresh snowfall in the upper reaches due to an active western disturbance has resulted in closure of major highways in Kashmir. The inclement weather has caused a sharp dip in temperatures. Summer capital Srinagar recorded a maximum of 10.2 degrees Celsius yesterday, which was a drop of almost 5 degrees from the temperature recorded a day earlier.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. The national capital is expected to witness thunderstorm with rain. Minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius and the maximum is expected to settle at 27 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, the sky will be clear. Minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 35 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 25 and 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have mainly clear sky with temperature varying between 19 and 32 degrees Celsius. In Srinagar, heavy snowfall is expected today. Minimum temperature was 2 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 8 degrees. In Jammu, temperature at the lower end was 14 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 20 degrees with generally cloudy sky and moderate rain. In Leh, light snowfall may occur today. Minimum temperature was -2 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 10 degrees. Gilgit may also have moderate snowfall. Temperature will hover between 5 and 12 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, generally cloudy sky is expected with the possibility of moderate rain. Temperature will hover between 3 and 18 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 13 and 25 degrees Celsius. The city will likely experience thunderstorm with hail. Chandigarh will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was recorded at 15 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected at 27 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 29 degrees. The city will have partly cloudy sky with haze. And in Guwahati, the minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 31 degrees Celsius.
In some more news, BJP Yuva Morcha President and Bangalore South MP Tejasvi Surya has written to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, drawing his attention to the plight of migrants from Pakistan settled in Delhi. He said that these migrants in Delhi are living in darkness even on Diwali due to lack of electricity connection. He alleged that this is their 6th Diwali in darkness. BJP Yuva Morcha leader appealed to the Delhi Chief Minister to provide electricity connection to the homes of the migrants and also other basic amenities. Mr. Surya said that the cadre of BJP Yuva Morcha will be compelled to stage a dharna if the migrants are not provided electricity and other amenities within 30 days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil the Statue of Peace tomorrow through video conferencing to mark the 151st birth anniversary celebrations of Jainacharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Surishwarji Maharaj. Shri Vijay Vallabh Surishwarji Maharaj led an austere life as a Jain saint, working selflessly and dedicatedly to spread the message of Lord Mahavir. The statue to be unveiled in his honor has been named as Statue of Peace. The 151-inch tall statue has been made from Ashtadhatu, 8 metals, with copper being the major constituent, and is being installed at Vijay Vallabh Sadhana Kendra, Jetpura in Pali, Rajasthan.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19 tonight. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Professor of Respiratory Medicine, Safdarjung Hospital, Dr. Neeraj Gupta will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Nitish Kumar to be the Chief Minister of Bihar for the 7th time. Newly elected MLAs of NDA elect him as the leader in Patna. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Birsa Munda's contribution to freedom movement and effort for social harmony will always inspire people. India lodges strong protest over unprovoked ceasefire violations by Pakistan along LOC. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 93.09% in the country, and veteran Bengali actor Soumitra Chatterjee passes away. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.